For the longest time, I believed I was 5'6", and that made me really sad. The average guy is 5'7.5", though I'm not sure you want to put me on Team Short because they're unionizing fast, and it's gonna be you or them. Deep Rock Galactic is a 4-player co-op shooter and quickly becoming one of my favorite new multiplayer games I found this year. Deep Rock Galactic is one of those soulful games, where it's made by a couple of Danish guys and you know their office parties are some of the hardest fucking things you'll never be invited to. Instead, you can simply play it on a live stream and before you know it, you're a fucking ornament on a VTuber's head. You are dwarves that work for a company called Deep Rock Galactic, tasked with the planet of Hoxie's 4, a planet rich in materials but also home to monsters called glyphids, a bug-like race that will swarm you and your team in the hopes that their home will become just a little bit quieter. And that's just one of the threats. You could try to break down a living rock and take it home, and before you know it, those ugly knife ears will show up looking for a slice of your pie, and you have to shoot at their robots. Also, you can go and try a new gun or enjoy a simple beer after work. And it's all awesome. A charming package that doesn't take itself too seriously, while also giving you expansive missions with tons of awesome battles. I'm partially making this video as an advertisement for my friends so I can finally fill a lobby. It won't work. They want to die in CS, but maybe it'll work on you. The goal of Deep Rock Galactic is to plunge into Hoxies and go deep underground, then do something, while fending off the waves of bugs coming to kill you. Once you're under the ground, the mission will be a variety of things. The most common task you'll get is collecting Morkite, a blue resource stored along the walls, which you find and mine, then give to Molly, a giant walking storage box. Your dwarf only has so many pockets, and most of them are apparently for sandwiches. Molly can be summoned at any time, and you can dump whatever you want in her as long as you're not afraid of going to hell. The only thing is that she has to march there from where she was before. Anyone on your team can place this point. So if one guy fucks off with Molly, the rest of you guys can leave your minerals on the cutting room floor. You could summon her back, but then it becomes a tug of war over the Molly button, and that's why they gave us the kick command. Host privileges. I'm not the host though. I want to join in progress so I can reap the benefits of whatever you are doing. I should mention that I'm not a long-time player. I started playing a little bit in Season 4 and then got into it for Season 5. But before I knew it, I started getting lonely, so I drafted up this long fucking thing in the hopes that I can pull just one more person.
Would you stick your dick in that?
No!
What about for $20?
20? No!
$200?
Season 4 started a whole year ago, so this is probably the best time to get in. I can only guess how far off the next one is. Plus, it seems like a pretty meaty season. Season 5 added a whole new game type. It involves finding 3 resonance crystals to locate a giant Morkite core full of Morkite seeds so that you can let Deep Rock potentially replace you. In order to get down there, you have to use what's called a fucking drill-evator. Not to be confused with the other mission type, the drill dozer. But you're still getting attacked, so you have to aim up and murder an insane amount of fauna, and it looks so fucking cool. As you engage in an overblown spectacle of firepower just to watch tons of dead bugs drop past you onto the floor. The game in general looks really cool. For all of the high-fidelity graphics that most modern games espouse, you really can't beat a solid lighting engine and good contrasting colors. It's more than just how it looks, but the tone and feel. Your dwarves interject a ton of humor into the mission like it's being carried out by Bert and Ernie. The missions aren't one note either. There are tons of side objectives that can be triggered. Gathering resources or activating a special event. You can even pick fights with giant bosses that can easily wipe your entire team if you wake them up. Why would you wake them up? Well, the answer is that you didn't. If you get past that, there's tons of resources to mine for crafting. Craft weapons, looks, upgrades. It takes a few swings of your axe to mine them out, but you'll get there. If you press Control or L1 on a controller, you can whip out a scanner that tells you what something is. If it's a resource worth taking, a monster that will kill you, a monster that won't kill you, or you can use it to ping over the radio. And Mission Control might be the only person more than you who is not paid enough for this shit.
Oh, my aching head.
Then you get into the escape pod and spam V for rock and stone, as if I won't be reading that in my comments for the next week. If you allow this many people to be in the same room shouting the same phrase over and over again, I'd really like to tell you that you need to move on from Persona 5. There are specific classes for everything. 4 classes to be exact. For example, if you see big dirt, it is digging dirt. It indicates that digging here will lead to another tunnel. You bring the guy with the big digging drills, but they make sure to call him a driller to reduce workplace accidents. Technically, the entire map can be burrowed through. By pressing tab, you can open a 3D map that shows you exactly where the tunnels lead. If you have a controller, it's the select button. No mean comment there because I don't look down on you for your personal choices. Though I will eventually forget, and for that I am sorry. Digging is not defined by class either. A few strikes of your pickaxe will empty any amount of dirt, though it will take a long-ass while. If you overestimate how long digging with the pickaxe can be, then it can look like this.
Yep, we didn't even do 2/3 of it, but we're getting there.
We can't give up. Driller makes up for that by having 2 giant drills on his arms. It shreds rock, and with careful use of the tack map, you can create hallways to anywhere. It does require fuel, and does need a quick break, but the thing is amazing. Some good use of it will save you a lot of annoying thinking and map navigation. These caves can be their own water temple, so you need to remember where you've been, what objectives are where, and how to get to the escape pod, especially because you're on a timer. The game throws a swarm at you every now and then, a large wave of glyphids that risk wiping out your whole team. These are big fights that will drain your resources and can make or break a mission. The driller does start off with a goddamn flamethrower though, which burns through every enemy you aim it at. The flamethrower leaves a streak of flame too. Well, mine does, but we can talk about that later. It really does feel like an overwhelming amount of power, as you hear the screams of every bug in front of you. You hold down that trigger and let the whoosh drown out everything else. You see, Ernie, it's not the noise that keeps me awake, but the silence. Deep Rock has several difficulties. The first 2 are reasonably easy. The missions can still take forever, but you won't get game over much. If you go up a hazard level, it can be a bit stickier, and you'll need to use more methodical thinking. If you set it to 4, I hope you're happy staying in the same spot, and if you leave your team, they're going to trek across the map just to set you on fire themselves. If you go down, you'll need a bud to pick you up. You'll never die for good, but the farther you are, the more the train has to backtrack to pick you up. The game has tons of mechanics that require teamwork. For example, one mission type revolves around building a pipeline, which involves placing several different segments and building them, which goes a lot faster when you have the whole backing of Orzammar behind you. Plus, you get to grind on it and make it as curved as you like. You don't need other people to be there, but it's appreciated. But teamwork goes broader than just holding E. Take, for example, the Holy Nitra, a resource which you mine by holding the right click. You have limited ammo and health, resources that will inevitably get spent as you kill bugs. Ammo leaves your barrel, bits of your HP get nipped off. Health can be replenished by using the red sugar pickups, but if you're out of ammo, you're gonna have to settle with blowing up your downed body. To get ammo and health, you need to call in a supply drop. It'll burrow through the ground and slam there, popping up with individual supply packs. The catch is that there are only 4 resupplies per drop, but they only restore half your kit. Meaning, if you want to equally share the resupply with the entire team, everyone is just gonna get half a kit. If you want to try and skim off the top from a few strangers, be my guest. Just remember that the driller has a satchel charge that will level a city block. Then again, he might not have it, so you'll just have to be cursed with the headache glitch. I might need to
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what's making this happen. These resupplies require 80 nitra. It's not rare, but it's not exactly common either. And if you want to get that resupply, you need to dump it in Molly. In lower difficulties, getting 2 supply drops isn't that odd, but the higher you go, the more ammo you're going to be shooting and the more you need it. Plus, all 4 of these classes synergize. So you want everyone to be at top 50%. Good enough performance. If you want to focus on only killing, you can try the second class, the Gunner. Gunner gets several heavy machine guns, which can tear up any bug at the cost of speed. Your fat ass moves like molasses, but you get a revolver that will end up putting down most things in 2 shots. I like me a revolver. It's the patient cinematic man's weapon. Hold H and the heads up display goes off. If you could tell, this game even had a heads up display because I've turned this on for almost every clip. He also gets a zipline because gunners love being on a zipline. This moves like molasses. It's super slow when you want to go upwards, but when you want to go down, the only faster way is breaking your legs. You can also suspend yourself in the air to kill ground-based bug enemies because they don't have the words to say you're cheating. The air bugs don't either, to be fair, but they give you over 100 ways to insult them back. This can also be used to cross gaps in a way that the driller can't. If you want to be some namby-pamby liberal, there's a support class. Engineers are integral all-purpose units. They carry 2 pieces of utility, a platform gun and a turret. The turret is what it says it is. You can build it and it shoots at everything it sees. That way you can monitor locations without having to be there. Though you do need to keep it stocked with bullets, because if dwarves know anything, it's how to give a turret plenty of tender loving care. The efficiency of these can depend on the level. You want to be able to set it and forget it, but you can also recall them whenever. The other gadget is the platform gun. This shoots a giant blob of foam that creates little stepping stools, allowing your teammates to climb up walls or create bridges, making this the first strand type dwarf game. These platforms also reduce your fall damage. All that so you can live, go home, and lose at fucking Jetty Boot. I should mention that none of these units are bad at combat. The engineers' guns are just as fun to use as the gunners or drillers. The scouts thing is managing light. Every dwarf has 4 flares that slowly recharge, allowing the caves to stay nice and viewable. They're not strictly necessary, you do have a headlight, but they worked hard on the lighting system. The scout, on the other hand, also gets a flare gun that projects a large, bright light that sticks to walls, with rapid fire capabilities. In truth, I use this for the sake of order. A well-lit map looks correct. Otherwise, we we have to make do with these flares, which look ugly when there are hundreds of them polluting the floor. Yes, bringing the Scout is a sustainability issue. The other tool they have is a grappling hook. It shoots out a beam and you are dragged to what it attaches to. It's not like a grappling swing, but more sort of a move towards the thing in a straight line. This gives you mobility, but it also lets you get resources in places that you might not have been able to normally. You reach these higher up caches by having the engineer shoot a platform up there for you to grapple onto, if he listens to your call out. It's resting somewhere in his thoughts between my ass hurts in this chair and let's fuck the Discord mod. Also, if you're one of those people that likes to express themselves, Deep Rock has a lengthy customization system. These classes have several different options, like a staggering amount. You can have a different gun, a different sidearm, different options on those guns that move their numbers up or down, different grenades, different perks, different skins. Okay, you can customize a lot of stupid looks. You can customize the guns, you can customize the gun skins, you can customize your pickaxe that is shown for 26 frames when you swing and for 44 when you rock and stone. To get the items, or well, anything, you need to do assignments. These are pre-plotted courses of missions that will net you something. The ones I jumped for were the guns. I always want a new gun. The new gun means I can start from scratch with the character. Yes, a minigun upgrading to an autocannon isn't the biggest change, but since I had to play several hours with the minigun, any change is gonna feel like a breath of fresh air. It just takes so long because the game wants to addict you to it, and because you want something to be addicted to. Deep Rock has some amazing charm to it. I can't even tell you whether the drinking is more culture or game mechanic. Most randoms refuse to get into the drop pod without a brew. The Abyss bar on the ship has over 20 options to pick from, and you are gonna try them all. Some offer bonuses, but others just do terrible things to you. And the randoms don't seem to care which one they drink, as long as they get to drink. Not that the game is a particularly harrowing experience. Even if you get defeated, you just come back to work injured and end up in the sick bay. And if you don't mess with anything, you can wear that shit to your next excursion. Or you could do what I do. Show up to work drunk. Granted, drinking has always had its benefits for me. One drunken night, a friend said I was probably 5'7". I was slumped on the couch and didn't really think about it. But I had also forgotten why I thought I was 5'6". The reason he said that was because he was looking at my license that said I was 5'7". I brushed it off because who knows how accurate a license is. I did not expect him to have a tape measure. I'm 5'7", which is really great to me. It meant I was slightly above the status of short. I'm honored to join the defense, guys. You should be glad to have me, because I know what they're capable of. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope I sound alright. The arm for my microphone broke, so I can't do the blanket trick like I used to. Usually I have some weird project I'm working on in the background and I funnel people towards it. This time I just have the dwarves. Also, before we go, I'd like to thank the people on Patreon who made this video possible. I would especially like to thank Sturmfetter, Sparkbolt120, Pyrozine, My Reed, Mario Fan 997, Ethan A, and Anthony R. Chambers. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Just like sit there and click on that. I was gonna stop it, but honestly, that looked too funny.